The federal government brought Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria for a case of terrorism. That is the issue at stake. The onus is on Nnamdi Kanu to now question his extraordinary rendition. These are two different things. Nnamdi Kanu ought to sue the federal government, but as of today, Nnamdi Kanu is not suing anybody. Rather, the federal government is suing Nnamdi Kanu for what he did or what he was alleged to have been done. The two of them are different. It is after this case has been adjudicated upon, then Nnamdi Kanu can now question why they had to kidnap him from Kenya.
Barrister, wouldn't that be like medicine after death?
No, it's not. But you can't mix up the two cases now. You are not challenging why you were brought from Kenya. You are not.
Barrister, he did challenge it. That was why the court said you don't have the decision to try him.
Listen,
he challenged it.
The first thing that the federal government did was to bring him for trial over what? Terrorism. That is the issue at stake now. Nnamdi Kanu can no longer come and say, because you brought me extraordinarily through extraordinary means, therefore you have.
On what ground? On what ground did the appeal court say that the High Court ab initio doesn't have local standard to try him? On what ground was that judgment given?
Look at it. The judges that carried that decision in the appeal court, where are they now? Do you know that?
No, Barrister. Forget where are they. On what ground did the appeal court give that judgment? Did the court grant Nnamdi a prayer that he didn't ask for?
No, Nnamdi Kanu was mixing it up initially. When they brought those charges, remember the charges that was quashed in the appeal court, 15 count charges, is those things that the DSS brought against him. And it was quashed. Even when they got to the Supreme Court now told Nnamdi Kanu, sue the federal government, enter a civil suit against the federal government for what they did to you. That was where they now brought up these charges against Nnamdi Kanu. So that is what we are talking about now. But so far, Nnamdi Kanu, I didn't hear where he has.
You have not answered my question.
I have answered you, but you don't understand.
I'm asking you, on what ground did the appeal court say that, look, the High Court, because this man was brought in illegally, you don't have the local standard to try him. And I'm asking you, did the appeal court grant a prayer that Nnamdi didn't seek? Or did he just walk into court and court said, look, High Court, you shouldn't have tried him because you brought him back illegally? The charges at the appeal court, was it not quashed? It was quashed. It was quashed. Is that not true? All the charges against Nnamdi Kanu was quashed at the appeal court. And yet the appeal court also said the High Court doesn't have right to try him.
At that point, they ought to have left him. But the federal government brought the charges again. When the matter went to appeal, remember, he ought to have been let off the hook. But the federal government, in their own wisdom, brought another charge on Nnamdi Kanu. Okay. And that is where we are now.
Okay, not on the previous charges.
I mean, can't you see it? It had been quashed already. The issue in Kenya court is, how did Nnamdi Kanu rendition from Kenya to Nigeria?
Right.
The Kenyan government is not charging Nnamdi Kanu for any offense. That was why he won there. Can't you see it? That was why the Kenyan court had to rule in favor of Nnamdi Kanu. The Kenyan government don't have any issue with Nnamdi Kanu. That's the difference. But here in Nigeria, the federal government is saying that Nnamdi Kanu committed a treasonable felony. And that is what is at stake now. So it is not left for Nnamdi Kanu or his legal team to say, look, when the case come up, why do you rendition is a different issue entirely. That is why he won in Kenya.
Let's wait and see how that actually turned out, because first